on scene here. This was a SWAT situation. SWAT and also other authorities are still on scene here. Again, the barricade situation is over. I do want to note here that yes, this is connected to, again, the two missing students from USF, right, the two doctoral students who went missing, but the suspect that was barricaded inside, officials tell me, is not affiliated with the university and is not a student, right, but the situation is still connected to the two missing students. So a lot of questions here, right? One suspect is in custody, but that suspect, right, is not one of the two missing students. So the search does continue for those two missing students, and we still have a lot to get to here. You know, it's a pretty quiet scene around here. Residents in the Lake Forest area are across the street because the scene was deemed dangerous for them to go to, but they have been very optimistic, leaving everything in the hands of the authorities. And that feeling, as we can say now, was warranted, right, because one suspect is in custody. JB?
Victoria Lucas reporting for us at the scene. Victoria, do you have any notion as to how long this scene lasted and really when this began? Let's go through the timeline here as to when the response, how long you've been at the scene, when the response actually began, and how long this barricaded suspect was the subject of a SWAT operation.
Yeah, so as far as exact times, we know the SWAT call came in at exactly 10:36 this morning, and Hillsborough County sheriff officials tell me their authorities were on scene just a little bit before, right, an hour before they approximate, and then our crews got on scene around 10:45. So it's almost noon at this hour, correct? So we're talking nearly a 3-hour situation here going on at Bruce B. Down Boulevard and Lake Forest Drive. You know, just before going live with you, officials say, you know, they thought they were going to be here for a long time because this was a barricaded situation, but now nearly 3 hours later, a suspect is in custody.
Do we know anything about how this came to an end and the current status of the suspect as far as where they are? Have they been transported from the scene? Are they still at the scene? What do we know about the particulars as to how this came to an end?
Very limited information here, JB. I can tell you that when I was live with you, the minute I went live with you, one of the authorities came walking through and mouthed to me, "It is over," right? So I just got this information minutes to you. We don't know how this person, you know, got into custody. We don't even know if it is a male or a female. That information was not given to us, was not going to be told to us at that time, right? So still very much limited information here. But again, we do know a suspect is in custody, and the scene is about to clear out here, and traffic is also picking up.
Victoria, we'll let you get back to it. I know that you're talking with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office there. I know that you're talking with various people that are walking by and might have seen something. So we'll let you get back to collecting information out there. But stick around because we'll probably be coming back to you in a little bit. Victoria Lucas there at the scene where, once again, if you're just joining us, the barricaded suspect is in custody. The words Victoria said a moment ago, it is over. But what I want to do now is I want to take you to another scene. We just got a drone up in the air, and I'm going to ask for a location as to where this is because I'm not sure. I'm going to ask Stream Center producer Garrett Phillips to tell us exactly where this is because we have multiple developing scenes now as we look at this full screen here. This is Drone 8. This is live in the air, and we're looking here at several authority vehicles, law enforcement vehicles that are here with that's Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Whether or not this particular scene is directly connected to the missing USF students, we'll find out. I'm sorry?
You can't say.
Okay. So Garrett, what's that? All right, we're going to mute mics for a second. So let's break this down for people because this is a developing story, one that we're getting a lot of information thrown at us from different angles, and we're going to explain where we are. this morning on the Howard Frankland Bridge. That's the bridge between Pinellas and Hillsborough counties. Hillsborough is where Tampa is, for those of you joining us outside the viewing area. There was a massive presence with law enforcement that backed up traffic for a considerable amount of time, affecting the morning commute. Early this morning, I was working the phones and talked to sources who informed to me that it is believed to be connected to the missing USF students. That's what we were told. That's what I was told on the phone this morning. So let's go here to the video. I think I actually have the video in this. That's the video from the SWAT scene. This is the video from this morning taken by one of our employees, a member of our assignment desk, as they were coming in. So this is hours old, but this shows the initial response by law enforcement as they were getting to the scene. And again, after we were able to work the phones a little bit, I was able to talk to a source who informed me that this is, as of now, believed to be connected to the missing USF students. What exactly that means and why the focus is on the bridge itself, that is still unclear at this time. We have an entire newsroom here. I'll point it out here to my right. The newsroom, the WFLA newsroom right now, is everyone working the phones trying to get information on this particular story. But we haven't brought this up yet. Let's show everybody what we're talking about here. Actually, this scene, this is the first VO, Garrett. So I think this is...
Yeah, this is a video that was taken, I believe, overnight. This was what we were using earlier on our 11 o'clock midday news.
This is what I want to focus in on right there, the two missing students. And we'll go to the 101 on this for those of you who are unfamiliar with this story. Nahida Bristi and Zamil Liman, 27-year-old students at the University of South Florida. They are doctoral students and, of course, pursuing their graduate degree. They are missing and endangered, according to police. They disappeared on Thursday, April 16th. That's 8 days ago. Zamil was last seen in the NES building of the University of South Florida on campus here in Tampa, while Nahida was last seen at her home. Why they disappeared, completely unknown, and how they were able to just vanish, also completely unknown. But this is a significant missing persons case that the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office has been working on with local authorities over the last week plus. And of course, we get the update last night. We were on stream with you last night that the two were believed to be missing and endangered now. Not just missing, but missing and endangered. And then we get the significant updates this morning with multiple scenes. Again, if you're just joining us, what we're going to do, we'll hit the touchscreen here and we'll show you this particular scene where the SWAT situation, as we understand it, the SWAT operation has come to an end because a suspect that is barricaded or was barricaded, that situation has come to a conclusion. It is over, but the status of the suspect is unclear at this time. The big question is, how is this barricaded suspect connected to the missing USF students? That is something that is entirely unclear to us at this point. We've just been informed that this is connected to the case that we've been covering for a week plus. We'll continue to monitor the comment section. I'm here with Stream Center producer Garrett Phillips. I'm JB Buno. We have Victoria Lucas at the scene as well. And we've been working this all morning long. But again, if you're just joining us, the SWAT operation is over in respect to the barricaded subject that was connected to the missing USF students. And perhaps we can update some of the text on the bottom of the screen, Garrett, to let people know that the SWAT scene and the barricaded, well, actually, I mean, it's still technically accurate, Garrett, but maybe if you can explore an update, that would be great. So let's give everybody a location here. This is the Lake Forest community, about a mile away from the University of South Florida. And civilians are being asked to avoid the area. So as we have our photographers here zooming in, and what I'll try to do, let's go split screen here, because we have two shots from the location. So we have angle 1 and angle 2. We have multiple cameras on site, and really, both of our photographers are zoomed in on really the same thing right now. A Hillsborough County Sheriff SWAT tactical vehicle that is there on site. And again, they're focused on this particular section of the Lake Forest community. And clearly, traffic is once again flowing at a relatively normal pace. But we haven't seen a suspect in handcuffs. We haven't seen anybody, being taken into custody. Let's bring up that shot here again. But we have multiple scenes connected to the missing students. Again, if you're just joining us, the scene at the bridge, which we don't have live video of simply because it's a difficult to access location. It's the Howard Frankland Bridge, which has been a mess all morning traffic-wise. It's very hard to get to. But when you do drive by it, it looks something like this. Multiple lanes of traffic closed for a heavy police response that, again, sources indicate to me is connected in some way, shape, or form to the missing USF students. People just want to know where these two are, ultimately. They want to know what happened to what happened to these two when they went missing 8 days ago. Again, the disappearance of doctoral students Emil Limon and Nahida Bristi, 27 years old. So as soon as we get any new information, we will pass it along here on stream. What we're going to do now is we're going to pay attention to the comment section. There were a lot of questions and speculation on social media this morning. Perhaps we can address some of that speculation. All you have to do is use Hey JB or Hey Garrett with your question or comment in the social media chat. So Facebook Live, YouTube Live, TikTok Live, and we can animate your comment on screen. So we'll look for those comments starting now. Let's go back to the live picture here. A split screen. Multiple camera angles from the scene of where the barricaded subject was taken into custody here in Tampa, Florida. Bring up some audio. Listen in. We'll keep the live signal up and bring the audio down a little bit. We'll bring the audio down a bit to get to some of the questions. And they're coming in on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And again, only with Hey JB or Hey Garrett can we animate comments. Hey JB, do you know if they were in any kind of relationship, that he may have kidnapped her and disappeared socially? So we do know a little bit through Zamil's brother that the two had been romantically linked in the past, but remained friends. That's, as we understand it, that is the extent of the relationship, that these two were close, they are friends, but they did have feelings. The exact words were feelings for each other at a point in the past that we don't know what the timeline looks like. We don't know if these two dated at one point in the past, as far as recent past, or if it was years ago. They are both from Bangladesh. They came over to the United States from Bangladesh and attending school at the University of South Florida, and both pursuing doctorates. So that's really the extent of the relationship. But these two, from the beginning of the missing persons alert going out, have been linked. Even though they disappeared from different locations, we had Zamil, who had disappeared from I believe it was from campus, and then Nahida disappeared from home. That is, but still they were linked. They were said to be linked from the beginning because they disappeared same day, same time. Any other comments or questions? You can go and use Hey JB in the comment section, and we'll try to bring it up. We have a better angle here that I'm going to show everybody. So this is clearly becoming a scene at the area with a lot of different vehicles. Okay, so this is actually a great shot. We're zoomed in now near the home on Lake Forest Drive. I'm going to bring this up on a map because I want to just kind of see this on a map. But
JB, while you're looking at that too, just wanted to update you. HCSO Sheriff's Office said that on X, the platform there, basically shared an update about 3 minutes ago saying that the Sheriff's Office responded to a barricaded subject, as they put it, connected to the missing USF students in the Lake Forest community near Bruce B. Downs Boulevard and Lake Forest Drive. The situation has been resolved. One individual is in custody, and that they said additional updates will be shared as they become available. So obviously we know Victoria Lucas on the scene had already reported this, but just confirmation finally from the Sheriff's Office that, you know, they have shared that publicly now.
Now we have Drone 8 in the air. And let me be clear about this shot from Drone 8. It might be connected to the missing USF students, but it is unclear at this time. There's a lot of Pinellas County Sheriff's vehicle. We told you earlier about the video from the Howard Frankland Bridge from this morning. And again, sources indicating to me that the story is connected. The missing USF students are connected to what was unfolding on the bridge. Now you have this scene that is developing nearby. We're trying to sort through what exactly this is, and as soon as we have information on that, we'll let you know. Let's get you back to the split screen here because we have multiple angles now pointed to this. Let me explain what we're looking at here. You're looking there at the street sign, Lake Forest Drive, and this is in a community near the University of South Florida, the Lake Forest community. It is right here. You can see that we're at two different zoom lengths right now. We began this live stream. Seconds before we began the live stream, Victoria Lucas on scene was told that the barricaded subject is in custody. The words were, "It's over." So if there was any standoff or any operation that was underway with SWAT trying to get into the home and trying to get access to the barricaded suspect and bring that person into custody, it was over somewhat quickly. What's unclear is when exactly SWAT got on scene and how long the barricaded subject was barricaded. We're trying to get some details on that, but it was over right before we began this live stream. So now you can see on the left side of your screen a very large contingent of investigators with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and then we have the Bruce B. Downs Boulevard wide shot there on the right. Our two dedicated photographers are working hard right now to get the best angles possible and zooming in past the police perimeter that obviously has been set up here on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. So we'll be patient, allow our photographers to get set up. I believe it's hot out there. Meteorologist Rebecca Barry is here to my right. What's the temperature out there right now? 79. Okay, it's not terrible. Low humidity. Low humidity. So sometimes these scenes can get very, very hot, and it can be a lot of extra work or a lot of more difficult work for our photographers working a breaking news situation like this. But 79 degrees, low humidity here in Tampa, Florida today. So we haven't seen anyone in handcuffs. We haven't seen anyone being taken away from the scene. We do not know where the suspect is. We do not know who they are, whether... I believe that the only thing that we were told about them is that they're not a student. Is that correct, Garrett? I believe that that's what we were told.
Right, yeah. I do remember hearing that they were not affiliated with USF as being a student, as far as I'm aware. I do not know if they have said if they are related in any other way to the school by other means, but as far as I know, they are not a student there.
Yeah, confirmed, not a student at USF. We don't know the gender of the individual. We don't know the age of the individual. We don't know if this is a friend or if this person has any connection to the missing USF students. But we're zooming in, and you're seeing units in tactical gear there on the right, underneath or near a tent that was set up by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Multiple large-scale units on scene, including a SWAT vehicle, obviously on scene with the deployment of SWAT for this particular police response. And I'll keep an eye out on the chat for questions, comments using Hey JB in the comment section. But if you're just joining us, this is a breaking, developing story regarding the 2 missing USF doctoral students, 27 years old, Nahida Bristi, Zamil Liman. There's been tremendous concern because these two I believe Zamil's brother said, very punctual, super focused on his studies, extremely dedicated to his academics, and very unlike him to just go off grid like this and to just disappear. And to disappear with somebody who he was romantically linked with, Nahida Bristi. As we understand it, the two are currently friends, but might have had feelings for each other in the past. That, of course, adding a lot of raising a lot of alarm bells for family and friends that the two went missing on the same day from the University of South Florida. So this has been a missing persons case over the last 8 days here in Tampa Bay, Florida. And we have significant developments in this missing persons case today with multiple scenes unfolding. And one more time, because we're constantly engaging a new audience, let's show everybody this video. This was from this morning. This is a heavy police response on the Howard Frankland Bridge between Hillsborough and Pinellas counties here in Tampa Bay. That's really the 2 counties where St. Pete and Tampa call home, the 2 major cities in the Tampa Bay region. And we were working the phones this morning. I was working the phones, and a source indicated to me that this is connected to the missing USF students. How it is connected is still unclear. We've been pressing for answers and trying to work the phones as much as possible, but the details of this investigation right now are so sensitive, and so much is happening all in real time right now. As we work the phones, they want to say more, but they can't, given that this is a rapidly evolving situation. So when things begin to calm down and investigators are able to fully grasp these multiple scenes, they're going to be able to talk to us more. We're just in that moment right now where there's so much happening in multiple areas. Also, which makes this really interesting, Garrett, is that the Howard Frankland Bridge is always unique. Really, any bridge between 2 counties is unique because, okay, is this the Hillsborough County side of the bridge? Is this the Pinellas County side of the bridge? Whose jurisdiction is this? Not to mention, if they do have to get to the water below and they have to get units on the water, again, is that Hillsborough County? Is that Pinellas County? Sometimes an assisting agency like the Coast Guard will be brought in to assist if necessary. But these can get pretty complex when you're talking about right along county lines and whose jurisdiction, whose response it should be, whether it's one county A or county B. But we're seeing here, I think, the vehicles, we've seen a lot of FHP vehicles, which is state police, so right. It's their jurisdiction, right? But with a criminal case like this.
Yeah, I know we had heard that there was some Hillsborough County officials on scene as well. And so that was a lot of the question that was raised this morning is, okay, Hillsborough County officials are on scene, maybe leading or at least participating in whatever this investigation on the bridge is. Well, they are also the lead investigators, obviously, on the missing USF students. And so that was the first kind of link that people started to make speculative at the time, of course, of could these 2 scenes be connected? Because is this, as you mentioned, on the Pinellas County side? And if it is, why are Hillsborough County officials there? Well, maybe it's because of the students being involved. Who knows what actually the truth of it is, because unfortunately I don't know the county line as far as where on the bridge it crosses either. But yeah, as you mentioned, sources obviously telling you earlier that this is connected to those USF students, and you're kind of just hoping at this point, as somebody who has followed the story, as we all have since it started breaking a couple of days ago, that this is going to be hopefully a better outcome than people are expecting.
What ultimately we want is a happy ending to this story. We are so hopeful that Nahida and Zamil are found okay. we're awaiting updates. We have a really good shot here. Let's show you a live picture from the scene. Once again, this is the Lake Forest community at Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. This is not too far away from the University of South Florida, where a SWAT operation has come to an end with a barricaded subject in custody. The HCSO, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, confirming to WFLA News Channel 8 that the subject and this SWAT operation connected to the 2 missing USF students. They would not go beyond that. All they are saying right now is that the missing students and the barricaded subject are connected, and we're waiting for details. We're waiting for information. I should probably point out to our audience here, because this is really significant, and I can provide some local context here. Hillsborough County Sheriff is Chad Chronister, very much in Chad's playbook to walk over to these cameras when there is an update that he feels comfortable with. There won't necessarily be a massive announcement of a press conference. We've seen it so many times. We've covered developing news stories and breaking scenes like this one, and we'll just out of nowhere we'll see Sheriff Chronister walk over directly to a camera like this one and say, "I have some information to share," and he'll just go. Basically what I'm saying is, an impromptu press conference from Chad Chronister should not be ruled out. It could happen at any moment. And as soon as you can see right now, they're all huddled up. A lot of these details are being sorted through in real time. The moment that they have a grasp on the information that they can publicly disclose, believe me, Florida is a state where they're not going to wait till next Tuesday to reveal it. Most states are really quick with getting information out to the media, but especially in Florida, and I've covered news in I think 8 states, Florida is probably the best when it comes to releasing information to the media and to the public at large quickly. Florida is big on transparency and informing the people and telling people what exactly is going on. However, there are some potential complications, and without speculating too much, I don't want to delve too much into the realm of speculation. We don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but it's best, and it's procedural in many law enforcement agencies, for a family member to be informed of what is going on, rather than them turning on the news, clicking on their remote control, and learning it that way. So the flow of information is really important for a law enforcement agency like the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Whether or not they have to communicate updates to the family, that's unclear. But clearly right now with this huddle, Garrett, they're getting all their ducks in a row and making sure that everything is squared away from a operational standpoint.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we don't want to speculate about what that could mean as far as informing family. But even if that's not what they are currently concerned about, we're talking about at least 2 different scenes that are, potentially connected, and obviously being handled by 2 different sections of the sheriff's office, because you can't be in 2 places at one time. So if there is a, kind of a delay of information coming through, it could simply be because you have those 2 different scenes that you're trying to work through, trying to make sure you have all the facts. Because I'm sure the last thing that Sheriff Chronister or any, media relations official wants to do is step up to the mic and not have answers for all the questions they're going to get. They're going to get questions about this barricaded scene, but also about what's happening on the bridge, especially now that, word is starting to get out that those 2 could be related. So they probably want to make sure they have all the information from both scenes that they could have before they get in front of a microphone and tell you exactly what happened here today. That's, I would assume, probably their first concern in terms of how it relates to getting information out.
We are awaiting updates, and again, just from experience, I do not think we are going to have to wait terribly long for an update. And that's just that's not me hearing anything. That's just the experience in working with this particular law enforcement agency, with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. In fact, the public information team is predominantly made up of former WFLA reporters. So we have a very common understanding of how the public is seeking information, seeking updates, and wanting those updates as quickly as possible. But we also, on our end, totally respectful of the process and understanding that they are working through a tremendous amount of detail right now, clearly, with this scene, with the scene this morning, in Tampa Bay at the Howard Frankland Bridge. A lot to sort through. So we are going to. Oh, see, look at that. Sometimes I speak things into existence. That's interesting. News Channel 8 being informed just a moment ago that a press conference is in the works. So this is like a heads up, and we get these heads up quite a bit with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, even with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, just to make sure that all the media is together in one place so that they can all meet in one location. All the cameras can be pointed to the sheriff or whomever is going to be speaking, whether it's a PIO, to distribute that information. And so we've just officially been given a heads up that a press conference is in the works. We believe, and I'll ask my team, because I know they're listening in the newsroom, to confirm whether or not that's at this particular scene here or at a different scene, a different site. Well, I know we have Victoria Lucas, a reporter on the ground, collecting information right here at Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. However, we don't have a location for that press conference that we can pass along yet. But as I said, Garrett, I can almost see it. Chronister or a PIO is going to emerge from this scene, head straight over across Bruce B. Downs Boulevard, past this police perimeter, and just we'll be ready to listen in. So it's just a matter of when that exactly happens.
Right, and we're going to continue to monitor it. Obviously, I'm looking through social media for the sheriff's office, trying to figure out if they're going to share anything here. Obviously, if they have a press conference that they are planning to hold, you probably expect they will not share anything online officially until they have that press conference, probably something they'll hold back on. So we're just going to keep monitoring it and see what's going on here. Obviously, it's been about a week, if I remember correctly, since the
April
students
16th, 8 days,
first went missing. Last night, obviously, they were declared or told that it was told to us rather that they are considered endangered by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Then, of course, this morning now we've got obviously the lane closures on the Howard Frankland that we have been told were in connection. That was, I believe, first reported this morning sometime around like 7:40 or 7:45 by WFLA. And then, of course, obviously after that, now we have this scene that we're looking at here. That started sometime around 10:36 in the morning, I believe, is when SWAT was first called to the scene. And then it was announced that the subject that was barricaded is in custody. That was announced at 11:55 a.m. So just about half an hour ago now, as we have been monitoring this scene. So that's kind of the timeline of where this escalation has been. Because, for that week, right, that we had been waiting until last night, there really wasn't a lot of movement on this case, on these missing students. It just kind of been something that everybody obviously had been concerned about and were asking for tips on. But really last night is when it started to ramp up here.
Hold on, interesting. Let's just talk about what we're seeing here. A couple of new things have just happened in the last minute. That is clearly a SWAT team roving drone. Mm-hmm. You don't really you don't get to see this too often. So this is they are quite literally rolling back, remote controlling this roving unit and bringing it right back. It looks like it's following them. It's interesting. I'm just getting dog vibes.
Yeah.
No one was holding like a remote control, in their hand. It looked like the unit was following them. Like, it was just part of the team.
I wonder if they have a handheld remote that is kind of a tracking device
that's just going to
follows.
Follow mode.
Not really sure how those work. I do know that they use those obviously for what are considered high risk operations, like in this individual case, obviously barricaded suspects or subjects that are considered a high risk to, rather than send obviously a SWAT officer in, send in that drone to kind of do some reconnaissance there.
All right, something new. Let's show you this, okay? This is the Howard Frankland Bridge live, okay? Our team just informed me that within the last 90 seconds, a boat at this scene that we've been talking about this morning, went under the bridge and is now on site. Now, I'm going to ask our team to confirm whether or not it was a law enforcement boat, but a boat is now in the water in the area. of where this law enforcement presence was quite large. And again, sources indicating to me this morning that it is a connection to that this scene in particular is connected to the missing USF students in some way. We don't know how yet, but in some way. So yeah, clearly some high winds there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what we're seeing as traffic cameras. They're posted obviously quite high so that you can get a better view of the traffic on the bridge. And when it's windy like that, that's kind of what you see there.
Being told that the boat had police lights on it. So, all right, so we'll keep an eye on that, even though it looks like, it feels when you watch that shot like there's an earthquake happening. But all right, so I have not seen Sheriff Chronister yet. We do have. Oh, that's interesting. You can look at that there on the vest, Sheriff Negotiator. So you have to wonder if negotiations were at play with the barricaded subject when they were taken into custody, but clearly a sheriff's office negotiator there in Tampa at Bruce B. Downs Boulevard.
I'm sure that's one of the first things that you try to do when you have a barricaded subject is to have somebody who can talk them out of the situation rather than, obviously, the last thing you want to do is send in people who are going to try and take them out by force, because that can obviously be a very dangerous situation. You'd obviously rather have the subject or suspect, whatever the case may be, give themselves up.
Another live picture here from the Howard Frankland Bridge, 275. This clearly shows what has been a major source of frustration this morning, because the scene on the bridge connected to the missing USF students has caused major delays. And people might think this to be insignificant. Okay, what is traffic next to two missing students? And we, of course, totally understand that sentiment. But you have to understand the Howard Frankland Bridge is a major artery between really the primary means of transportation between Hillsborough County, Tampa, and Pinellas County, St. Petersburg. So this has been, and people, of course, they shouldn't be, but they are. They're on their phones as they cross the bridge, trying to find out what this is about. They might have seen it on the news this morning, and they're thinking, wait a minute, this can't be an accident. An accident would have been cleaned up relatively quickly, probably within an hour or so. This has been many, many hours of these lane closures, and they're probably curious as to what's going on. I would imagine this has happened before. People are finding this live stream right now, Garrett, because they just want to know what is the deal with the Howard Frankland Bridge and what is this heavy law enforcement presence that has forced the closure of multiple lanes now into the afternoon hours, not even just the morning hours.
Yeah, I know that earlier this morning they had talked about there being up to a 2-hour delay for some people traveling on the bridge this morning. I'm not sure that that's gotten any better since then, especially not just looking at this photo here. That looks like, a pretty heavy backup is the best way to put it. Hefty backup there. So obviously not something that's fun to be in, but at the same time, as you mentioned, that sentiment of what is traffic compared to, the lives of these two missing students, hopefully still with the possible outcome that they are found safe. Obviously, if that were the outcome, I think anybody who was stuck in that traffic would probably take that type of trade-off.
A smile on the face of this particular Hillsborough County Sheriff Deputy or SWAT team member.
I believe you saw, I don't know if you saw this, but our newsroom is saying that Chief Deputy Joseph Moore is going to be speaking at the press conference.
Okay. So Sheriff Chad Chronister is normally the face that we see, but he might be out of town.
He could possibly be at the other scene.
That's true as well.
As possibility as well. So,
but it won't be him that's speaking. And look, it looks like now there's some movement with that. Oh, I think that's a bomb unit there. I just saw bomb on the side of that. So it's hold on. Oh yeah, that's the bomb disposal unit for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I don't know if they're making a U-turn here and they're going to try to leave. But they have the crisis negotiation team, they have the SWAT team, and they have the bomb disposal team here in the Lake Forest community off of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard.
Yeah, we saw that.
Quite a response.
We saw that drone earlier, the I don't want to call it a walking drone, that rolling drone earlier. I wonder if that was part of the bomb unit. I know that, the use of drones to scope out a scene, not saying that there was a bomb involved here because we obviously don't know that and that would be speculative, but those certainly are the types of drones you might see for that type of response if that was a worry or the case. And who knows if that was actually the worry there or if they just brought out basically everyone that they could in an attempt to be prepared for any type of situation that they might have faced today.
So it looks like we now have multiple units in motion, and what this likely is these units packing up and going home. So let's start here with the Hillsborough County Sheriff SWAT vehicle. Looks like they are backing up onto Bruce B. Downs Boulevard and calling it a day, at least for this particular scene.
It's now been about 30 minutes since the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office last shared an update on their X page where they talked about the subject, the individual that was barricaded, being taken into custody. So they've had some time here, obviously, to collect themselves and collect the different things that they might need from this scene here.
Let's pull down mics. We'll just listen in for a moment.
Okay, so I know that cat is live. I'm just looking for him. That's all I needed. You're good now. I'm not going to mess with you no more. You go back ahead. You feel good about yourself. That's all I needed, bro. I appreciate it. I'm not going to mess with you.
Yeah, there's a guy who's definitely going to interrupt my life.
And just kind of listening in to some of what we're hearing there at the scene. Again, we have multiple cameras there, so let's actually just show. I mean, we're basically both our news crews were sent to the same spot. They were both tasked with getting as close as possible to the unfolding situation before it became a SWAT operation. Oh, and good to see that we have the YouTube chat back. Hello to our YouTube audience. JB, Garrett with you. We have a TikTok audience as well. So we'll just, as proof that we are live on these platforms, saying hi to Stephanie, Joyce, Alana on TikTok Live, saying hello to Deborah, Wings of Creation Lynn on YouTube Live, and then on Facebook Live. We've got Anthony and some others joining us in the comment section as well. At any point in the live stream, if you use Hey JB with your comment, we can bring your comment on screen, answer your question. And speaking of which, to get everybody filled in on what this has been like from just a witness standpoint, let's listen into Victoria Lucas, who spoke to some neighbors nearby as they were watching this scene unfold a short time ago.
So you live across the street in
Yes,
the Lake
I've been there
Forest
since
area?
1993.
Have you ever seen something like this?
Well, we have helicopters every now and then have come, but not to this extent. But we started to have during the Black Lives Matter riots. They ended right over there when they had them on Fowler. They worked their way right to there, and they were starting to barricade this neighborhood. But other than that, this is the most resources I've ever seen in this neighborhood for something.
How are you feeling?
Well, I'm overheated because we went for an hour and a half hike, and I just want him to go, but things happen, and this is why we have the police to be able to handle this. And I'm glad, because I'm just learning about all this, that they were able to get some information and tips to be able to deal with this. Now I just hope the people come out okay. So if they are rescued, it's worth waiting here, because I don't think we're going to get home for a while.
This is connected to the two students that are missing from USF.
Yes.
27-year-olds, so young.
Yeah, doctorate students, I heard. Yeah, so I was just looking it up to get more information and stuff. You know, we have a lot of ties to USF here, right? We got professors here, employees here, students here. So I could see we're close. We're less than a 5-minute drive to USF. So while this is crazy, I could see something like this because we are so close to the campus. You never know.
And that was one of the neighbors who spoke to Victoria Lucas a short time ago. We're back here live now looking at the Hillsborough County response from the sheriff's office. Again, if
really quickly, can we pull up that live shot of I think I can see the boat now on 11.
Oh, it's on 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, stand by. Hold on.
It looks like they're about to go under the bridge.
All right, so check this out, folks. Oh, there it is. Right there, bottom right.
And
Look.
you see those siren lights or the police lights there too. Yeah, you can see it.
Good catch, Garrett. So there is the law enforcement boat in the water underneath the Howard Frankland Bridge. Now, how is this scene connected? This morning, exact time unknown, it was early this morning, a heavy police response, a heavy law enforcement response began to form on the Howard Frankland Bridge between Tampa and St. Petersburg. That's I-275. And there you can see the law enforcement boat now there on the other side, Garrett. See it there on the left?
Yes. Yep, yeah, there it is.
So we began working the phones, and a source indicated to me that it was connected to the missing USF students, but they were not able to divulge exactly how it was connected. So we will, of course, keep you posted on this particular scene. This is not an accident that can get cleared in an hour. This is not construction work. There have been people, thousands of drivers, extremely frustrated by this traffic. But this is connected to the missing USF students, and we are awaiting word on exactly how this scene is linked to this scene, the barricaded subject that was taken into custody at the Lake Forest community near the University of South Florida. For those of you just joining us, as far as this subject who was taken into custody, we do not know who they are. We do not know their age, any of their demographic. The only thing that we know about this person is that it's connected to the USF students. This person is in custody, and they are not a USF student. That's the only details we've been provided on this. We haven't been told whether or not the barricaded subject was injured or not. The details are extremely scarce here, but we haven't seen an ambulance leave the scene. Normally, if a barricaded subject is taken into custody and there's injuries, of course, the first thing that's going to be done is they're going to either be treated on site or taken to the most local nearby hospital.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it in chat too about like, how do we know that this is a connection? And frankly, the answer is it's because the sheriff's office said so. Right? We are only reporting what the sheriff's office has told us, and that is that this was a barricaded subject, that they have some connection to the missing USF students, that they are not a student themselves. And that is all that we know at the time, right? So if you're wondering where we're getting our information from, it's from the sheriff's office. If you're wondering why we don't know more, it's because the sheriff's office has not said more about it yet. So we are currently, like you all are, I'm sure, monitoring the situation as closely as we can, hoping for more information. We do know, as we mentioned previously, that there's a planned press conference. We don't know when it is because we have not been told a time, only that there is a planned press conference that they will speak to the media to hopefully reveal more information about how this is connected to those missing students and maybe possibly also that Howard Frankland Bridge situation that we have been monitoring all morning.
All right, so here's the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office crisis negotiations team. They are now leaving the area. First, we saw the SWAT team leave. Now the crisis negotiations team. We also saw what appeared to be the bomb disposal team also getting ready to leave as well. And again, awaiting this press conference from Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer. I would imagine, and this is just an educated guess, it's going to happen right here, that at some point soon you'll see a contingency of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office across the street, head over to these cameras, and and begin speaking and sharing details on this story this is a story that has received national attention, international attention. These two being from Bangladesh, studying here in the United States, nearing their doctorate degrees, and going missing for 8 days, uncharacteristic to them, it's obviously raised a lot of alarm bells.
Yeah, I'm sure that everyone in the chats, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube or wherever the case may be, and I think I could speak for you as well, JB, both of us here in the studio, we are expecting, or we're at least hoping for more information about how this barricaded subject is connected. I think that's maybe, I don't want to call it the number one question we have, because obviously the number one question is, where are the two missing students and are they
Right.
okay? But maybe the number two question that we have currently, based on everything that we've learned today, is, who is this subject? How are they connected to the students? And if they're in any way connected to the school, we know they're not a student themselves, but are they connected to the school in some way, right? We don't want to speculate, but what is this subject's connection to everything here is probably the number one question on everybody's mind. And that's what we're hoping we learn when the sheriff's office decides to speak to media, hopefully sooner rather than later at this point.
So, Garrett, you know me to be quite the optimist. I always try to be as hopeful as I can be when it comes to stories like this. But let me just point out something to our audience that probably has clicked, but I'm just going to say it out loud because that's what I do. If they were found by now, or if there was any leads, or if there was any hope, I think we would have received that news by now. So the fact that we still don't have any update onto the status and location of Nahida and Zamil, it's just it's not the news you want. It's not the news that you want, and we're hopeful that I'm hopeful that I'm wrong. I'm hopeful that that when Chief Deputy Moore speaks, that we get news on a potential lead that could point investigators in the right direction. But
I was going to say, you're hopeful that, as you mentioned, they haven't been found at this point, because if they had been found by now, you would have heard about it. So we're hoping that it's not an alternative, that they found something that, they have to, as you mentioned, contact families for, or a worst case scenario type of situation. You're almost hoping at this point that all they have done is found this subject, and that there is no sight yet of the two students, because then that means that they are still out there to be found, that they maybe are still, alive and well.
You know that there's some really nervous people out there right now that are watching, and okay, so here's some media on the move. I'm curious if they're allowing.
It looks like they're allowed to get closer.
Yeah, they're opening up the perimeter here a bit and allowing them to cross.
I wonder if that's what our other shot there on 6 is. Is that us moving?
Yeah, I'll bring up that shot. It's cutting to black.
Actually, yeah.
So, but the media is crossing the street.
I wonder if that is to get to the staging area where they are going to be speaking to the media.
And I think we're next.
Yes, we were just informed.
Come on a walk with us across Bruce B. Downs Boulevard, everybody.
Just informed by the newsroom that, yes, they're moving to the location for the presser. So it looks like that we hopefully will be getting, once they get set up, hopefully it won't take too long before we hear from the sheriff's office.
That law enforcement boat in the water by the bridge also making another pass. I'm seeing it here out of the corner of my eye. So perhaps I would hope that we get some clarity on that scene, because I'm not the only one to have heard through sources that it's connected to the missing USF students. Other reporters in town have heard the same thing. I don't think that they spoke to my source, but they might have spoken with a different source. But and we're also getting a better shot as to this street and this community. And
yeah, they're letting them closer in here.
If you're just joining us, everybody, welcome into the Stream Center. We're live on Hey JB for breaking news. Garrett Phillips, Stream Center producer. JB here with you on the left. So this is about to be a press conference on a barricaded subject taken into custody after a SWAT operation in the Lake Forest community off of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard near the University of South Florida, where, of course, there's been tremendous concern on campus at the University of South Florida for two missing students. Nahida Bristi, Zamil Limon, 27 years old, friends, know each other, of course, studying here, coming to this country from Bangladesh, nearing a doctorate degree, nearing the pinnacle of your academic life. I mean, my goodness, to become a doctor. And they went missing 8 days ago. And last night they were upgraded, the missing persons case upgraded to being missing and endangered. And that brings us to this morning, where there's been a tremendous amount of activity, rapid developments in the case, most notably a barricaded subject being the focus of a SWAT operation. That subject is now in custody. There's also another scene at the Howard Frankland Bridge, which you might have seen if you're local to Tampa Bay. Driving across the bridge this morning, massive delays and enormous backup. A source indicating to me that that scene is somehow connected to the missing persons case, the missing students from the University of South Florida. We're about to get answers. If you've been waiting for answers on this story, it's about to become a lot more clear to us because Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is about to speak. We're about to get our questions hopefully answered, as many questions as we have. I'm hopeful that we get some of them answered here. And as soon as the press conference takes place, we'll be Garrett and I will disappear. We'll all listen in live, and we'll go full screen to the press conference.
I'm being told our other shot will be where we are taking the presser directly. So we'll just monitor that as we wait for them to arrive, yet still
and there is
obviously getting set up here.
Okay. So this is what the Public Information Office with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office does. They're always ready to basically hold an impromptu press conference at the scene of a developing news story. I noted earlier the local sheriffs here in the Tampa Bay area, not just the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, a lot of the sheriff's offices here in Tampa Bay are great when it comes to publicly releasing information quickly, holding press conferences, keeping the public in the know. Florida is a state that is known for that from a law enforcement standpoint. And so rather than waiting for an evening press conference or having to relocate to the sheriff's office, no, they're setting up right here. They're gonna get a microphone set up with a device that allows it to be distributed to all the media, all the cameras that are there, and we get the information right here on site as quickly as we need to get it. So we do have the two shots here. One shot is a cutaway shot now, and I appreciate our team doing this. Let's show it to you. We have the cutaway shot, and we have angle 2, which is showing one of the homes where some of these units were parked in front of. So if you're just joining us, folks, we're about to get answers. Don't go anywhere. Stick around, because the press conference will begin here momentarily. Oh my goodness! I need a doctor. That was very loud in my ear. You know what?
We should take the audio off of that.
Yeah. All right. I just muted it.
Yeah, they are clearly.
My eardrums are ringing. That was right in my earpiece.
Clearly trying to get audio connected, and
ow,
we're gonna suffer for it a little bit here. Sorry about that at home for anyone who was listening and maybe heard that as well.
That's called tone, and usually a heads up is appreciated. That hurt. So yes, apologies to everybody watching at home. All right. Should I turn audio back on? You know what?
I'll wait until they start doing mic checks.
Actually, levels are blowing through the roof. So
yeah, let's wait till they do a mic check.
They're doing a mic check right now, but
well, okay, let's wait till they finish the mic check.
You know what? I'm going to bring up audio very slowly. Let's just slowly bring this up. Okay, tone is over. That's good. But it's just quite overmodulated, so we're going to work with these levels as they start to do mic checks here to get a proper level for our audience. across our platforms. If you're just tuning in, you could be watching on the WFLA app, the WFLA website, which is, of course, WFLA.com, our Facebook page,
How about now? All good?
our
All
TikTok
right.
page, our
I'm gonna
YouTube
go
page.
check, hopefully. Still not sure, but as soon as I can, I'll let you guys know. It's gonna be Chief Deputy Maurer.
Maurer, not Maurer. All right, so in the meantime, let's go split screen. Let's share with our audience the secondary angle. So there we have some personnel from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office speaking to each other in front of a home that we do not know if it is the home where the barricaded subject was. A lot of attention on, on this house, but there's a lot of homes on this street, and there's clearly a lot of vehicles parked up and down the street. So I'm going to repeat this, and my apologies to our audience, but it is my job to repeat this because on social media, we're constantly engaging a new audience. If you are just joining us, a press conference is about to begin momentarily on a major developing national news story. The 2 missing USF students vanishing 8 days ago. We now have multiple scenes that have unfolded this morning connected to the missing USF students. A highly anticipated press conference is about to begin momentarily. Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer is going to be speaking for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and disclose some new details on this barricaded subject that was taken into custody really, I don't know if it was morning or afternoon. I think it was right before the noon hour, Garrett. And the barricaded subject is not a USF student, but is said to be connected to the missing UF students in some capacity. How exactly, we are about to find out. We don't know how the subject was taken into custody. We don't know if the subject was injured in any way, although normally they disclose. Normally they disclose that, but they haven't yet. The exact location and status of that individual, where they are, and whether they're being questioned, and how they're connected to this, all of that remains unclear. But the answers are moments away in the form of this press conference that will be beginning shortly.
Yeah, the SWAT was called to the scene at 10:36 this morning, is when they were called to scene and arrived. Sheriff's Office officially announced that the subject was in custody at 11:55. That's about an hour ago, or just shy of an hour ago. So that's been an hour since they took the subject into custody, and they've had that chance to, collect whatever evidence or whatever pieces of information they need so that they can share here with the media as they are preparing for this press conference that we are waiting for. I wonder if this is going to solely be about the SWAT operation here and about this barricaded subject. I wonder if they're going to touch on that Howard Frankland situation that we have been told is connected in some way to these USF students, or if they are going to keep it strictly to what happened here at this scene. I think that's probably what most people's questions are going to be related to is one, how is this subject or how is this person connected to these students, to the school, if at all? And two, how is this connected to the scene at Howard Frankland Bridge, which is still, from what I can tell, being worked on. It's still an active scene here. You can see there the lights. We saw earlier the the sheriff's office boat, perhaps, in the water. We don't really know whose boat it was, only that it had law enforcement lights on it. So that's what we're looking for here is how are these two connected, and how is this subject connected to everything?
It's part of my job to just point out the obvious, and I'm sure our audience has picked up on this too, because I've been noting it over the last 30, 40 minutes. Things are really loose here at the scene. There's a lot of smiles, a lot of handshakes, and so this is still missing students, 2 missing USF students, but clearly there's been a lot of, and it's not just the individuals you're looking at here on screen. This is going back the last 45 minutes. We've seen a lot of satisfaction written on the faces of a lot of members of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. So I guess we'll find out more as to whether or not there's a particular reason that they are appearing to be loose and smiling.
They just, if I'm looking at this correctly, they just walked past where the microphone is set up to be staged, which I think is just right off to the right of this shot. I think it's more clear on the other shot. It's hard to tell, though. So wondering if they're getting ready to step up and speak here.
We have, of course, all of Tampa Bay media being represented here. There's, I'm sure, what we can't see from the shots, just so many cameras there are. A bunch of cameras pointed at this microphone, and that's been set up. And in fact, we have 2 cameras here. So there's quite a large contingent of Tampa Bay media being represented here, Florida media. In the meantime, folks, as we wait for this press conference to begin, this is what we do here on stream. We talk with you, our audience, watching wherever you are watching from. So you can use Hey JB or Hey Garrett, whether it's hashtag Hey JB or hashtag Hey Garrett, with your comment on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, or TikTok Live as we're waiting for this press conference to begin. Do you have a question about this story? Is there something that you're still a little bit confused about? If we can answer it, we're going to answer it. And even if we can't answer it, we'll put it up on screen and explain why we can't answer it. That's what we do here in the Stream Center. It's interactive as far as how we approach news. So we'll be bringing in your comments, provided that you use Hey JB or Hey Garrett with your comment. So here's a shot now of the... There it is. It had to make a big U-turn, I'm sure, a 3-point turn, but the Hillsborough County Sheriff Bomb Disposal Team Unit is now leaving, making a turn onto Bruce B. Downs Boulevard and heading back home. I'm just isolating comments now for Hey JB or Hey Garrett. So interesting. Aaron Watson wants to know, is there any chance that this is a love triangle? Well, you can't speak onto whether or not it was a love triangle, but I can speak on whether or not it was a triangle, because we now have 3 people here that we're focused in on. We have Nahida Bristi, we have Zamil Iman, both 27-year-old, the missing students, and now we have this barricaded subject. So 3 individuals that are the main people in this particular story. Now, you ask if it was a love triangle. All we know is that at some point in the past, Nahida and Zamil there were some feelings there. We don't know if it was full-on dating. We don't know if they were in a relationship. There were feelings, in the equation between the two. But as it's been described to us, they are friends. But there was some romantic component at some point in the past, according to Zamil's brother, who spoke to the media and spoke to News Nation. That's our parent network, by the way. So could it be a love triangle? Will we find out more in this press conference? I suppose we're gonna find out. Steve wants to know, how's the bridge connected to this? Great question. So
We'd
bridge,
like to know that also. Yeah,
we're hoping to find out. All I know is that a source indicated to me this morning that the bridge scene, which has been now, I think this is going on 6 or 7 hours. This is quite the scene at the Howard Frankland Bridge, the bridge that connects Tampa to St. Petersburg. This scene here has had multiple lane closures. We've had law enforcement boats in the water. And I have been told through my source that it is connected to the missing USF students, though they wouldn't specify exactly how just yet. I'll continue working the phone, even while I'm here on the live stream, try to bring everybody some more information. And I'm not alone. There's other members of the media that are speaking to sources and also finding out, yes, that this is connected to the missing USF students in some capacity. We hope to find out more here soon. This is separated by about 25, 30 minutes, those 2 scenes, by the way. The middle of the Howard Frankland I-275 between Hillsborough and Pinellas counties. And then this scene right here, the Lake Forest community near the University of South Florida, about a half an hour drive separates the two, depending on traffic. Right now,
I was going to say, definitely not right now.
No, my God, Garrett, the traffic is significant.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's obviously something that we're wondering, as we mentioned, is how are these connected? Who is the guy who is, or girl or person, who is the subject barricaded that they took into custody here? How are they connected? We truly do not know much of anything in terms of how these connections are being made, and that's what we're hoping for here. I'm hoping that this is not just we're going to deliver a statement and we're going to move on. I'm hoping they give the chance for
questions.
Questions, exactly,
Yeah.
so that we can ask, because I'm sure every reporter who is standing by waiting for this presser to start is going to have the same questions that we have, which is, how is this connected to what's been going on? We've heard there's a connection to the Howard Frankland Bridge situation. How is it connected? Who is this subject? How is he connected, or how are they connected to the USF students? What is happening here? That is obviously what everybody is hoping to get some type of answers for today.
TikTok Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. If you use hashtag KJB or hashtag KGarrett with your comment, yes, we can animate it on screen like this. That's, by the way, that's how you indicate to us that you want your profile picture, your name, and your comment on screen. Otherwise, we'll just let your comments just scroll on by. We take that part really seriously. Hey, JB, what are the circumstances that the friends went missing under, says Karen Worrell. We just know, and I'll read it here, that Zamil Limon went missing from... actually, it's not here in the story anymore. I'm trying to remember. One of them went missing from the NES building at the USF campus.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to clarify that for me, Garrett,
See
if
if I
you
can
would.
find it for you.
One of them, and I'm getting the two locations mixed up, but Nahida Bristi and Zamil Limon, one of them went missing. They were last seen on campus. I want to say missing because they're technically not the same.
Nahida Bristi.
Last seen one of them at the NES. I'm sorry, Garrett, take it away.
Nahida Bristi was last seen on April 16th at the NES building.
You're right.
On the USF campus. Zamil Limon was last seen at his home on Avalon Heights Boulevard in Tampa, which is, I believe, an off-campus residence that they were staying at. So that is the last time that either of those individuals was seen, and that was, again, on the 16th. That's about, 8 days ago now? So it has been about 8 days, just a little over a week, since Nahida Bristi and Zamil Limon were last seen.
Good opportunity to reintroduce the 101 here for people just learning about this story. Nahida Bristi, 27 years old, Zamil Limon, 27 years old, said to us currently as friends, two doctoral students at the University of South Florida, missing and endangered, disappeared on Thursday, April 16th. So that's 8 days ago. As you heard Garrett say, Nahida went missing from the NES building on the USF campus. Zamil went missing from his home. Why they disappeared and how they disappeared, completely unknown to us. So we'll continue to get to questions in the chat here, and there's a bunch coming in.
Apologies, too, if you're watching, you see me look off to my side here. That's where our grid is for all of our shots. So I'm just looking to make sure we can see when anything is happening on any of the shots here.
Emily, hopefully, Emily, that's a good summary. That's one of the reasons the 101 is helpful. It helps bring us back to the facts of the story.
Just to also update on the most recent, we talked obviously the 101 about the kind of the entirety of the story, but it's really escalated since last night when they were, declared endangered, and then this morning, 7:45-ish, I believe, in the morning was when I saw the first reports about the Howard Frankland Bridge delays, and then of course around 10:30 and then 11:55 is kind of the timeline for when SWAT arrived on this scene here that we are waiting for more information about, and then that 11:55 range is when the officials officially announced that the barricaded subject was in custody.
Mama Bear saying hashtag KJB. My question is this. If it happened 8 days and it's such a big deal, missing people always are, why does it seem like no one has heard of it outside of that area in the county or country? Yeah, it doesn't matter, county or country. Mama Bear, let me explain. We in the media, we've been covering this, but I'll be completely and totally honest with my audience, as I normally am. I've been frustrated with how people on social media have been slow on this story. Missing persons cases really gain attention when you click on a share or retweet or repost button. And we've seen it with tremendous momentum with other missing persons cases, that people just click on share the moment that they see it. For whatever reason with this story, we just have not seen the same response from people online. There's been a lot of really incredible people sharing it on social media on Tampa Bay and elsewhere in Florida, but it hasn't picked up the level of attention that you would anticipate from a story like this, with all the alarm bells ringing as loudly as they are for us. It's just, I think people, and we'll move on to some other questions because we have a lot. I'll try to make this brief. I think that there are a lot of people who underestimate how powerful your share is. Clicking one person sharing it and exposing it to hundreds or thousands of followers, regardless of platform, you have no idea how. And for some whatever reason, and I'm not going to speculate as to the reason. People can speculate in the chat all they want. Have at it. But people have been reluctant to click the share button more on this story than others that I've seen and I've covered personally. So I'm hopeful that maybe these two are still missing, and we're still hopeful that they're going to be found safe and sound. We want that to be the happy ending to this story. But ultimately, folks on social media, a lot of this comes down to you too. Folks that news consumers that follow these stories, you have a role in this as well. It's not just us in the media anymore. Years ago, decades ago, in broadcast news, whether it was TV or radio, a lot of that responsibility fell on the shoulders of old school broadcasters. But now with the world of social media, it's really on you guys just as much as it is on us to expose these stories and help out investigators with big public notices of missing persons, especially. So I hope that people, take this story seriously and click on the share button. Julie, actually, it's a great question, these are the questions that I appreciate because, we haven't even really talked about this yet. Could the barricaded subject be Zamil? Could the barricaded subject be Nahida? I will say this: they haven't been identified publicly yet. I will say that I have a funny feeling that if the barricaded subject was one of the missing people, we would have known by now. It's been a couple of hours since this scene really started to form, and I think we would have found out by now that if it was one of the two missing people, I could be wrong, but that's just a hunch.
For what it's worth, too, I just did a quick little Google Maps check, and I don't have the exact address, obviously, of where the missing student was living, but based on the community that we know that this took place in, and based on the basically the road or the street that we know the student lived on, these are about 10 minutes apart. So, it's not like this happened at the residence where Zamil was last seen. So I don't know that tells us anything. Obviously, it doesn't mean that he couldn't, if it was perhaps him, it doesn't mean that he couldn't have moved to a different location. But that, just to kind of put that to bed too, this is not the same location where he was last seen.
Let's continue on. Why we're doing this, folks, we're live here, and we're awaiting the press conference that will begin any moment with Hillsborough County Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer. As soon as he comes up to the podium here, we will listen in. We'll take the press conference full screen as we normally do. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that to happen, we're clarifying a lot of the information that is known and unknown in this story. So let's continue to answer questions with hashtag HeyJB or hashtag HeyGarrett. I've never seen a TikTok user by the name of Sorry WFLA. That's interesting. Do we have any info on the barricaded suspects? The only information that we know is that they are connected to the missing USF students, that they are in custody, and that they are not a USF student. So actually, to the previous question, could the barricaded suspect be Zamil?
Right.
I guess
that's a no.
I'm getting crossed up. Yeah, the answer would be no, because Zamil obviously a USF doctoral student. Mama wants to know, hey JB, was there medical examiner on the bridge? The unit that we identified was a forensics unit on the bridge, and of course a unit in the water as well. Steve on YouTube Live wants to know, do you know if the suspect is injured? We do not. Jew 3200 wants to know, it's hot in Tampa. It's not that bad. It's around 80 degrees, low humidity. It's actually not that bad. We've had some really hot days in the 90s, and it's insufferable out there. But no, it's not as bad as it's been the last couple of weeks. Sheila, do we know the owner of the barricaded home? Thinking like a reporter is Sheila. We don't know which home just yet was the subject of this SWAT operation where the barricade. I mean, there's several homes closely located, together on the street. Victoria Lucas might know better on this. That's the reporter on the scene. But
we do not know the exact address. We just know the
we can find
area.
out we can look as far as our newsroom. We can find out very, very quickly. There's Amanda Shavari, who I know, walking past. Aaron wants to know any update on the parking lot crime scene in Pinellas. No. And that scene, let me be clear with that scene. That was another scene that just seemingly sprouted out of the ground, like out of nowhere. And we can't say with certainty right now that scene is connected to the missing USF students. But it was nearby, very close by, and a very large police presence that was very sudden. So, can't say. We, again, hope to get some answers here soon. This one doesn't have a hashtag, but I want to bring this one up because I want to clarify. So, wait, Wing says, so they went missing from 2 different locations? They were last seen in these 2 different locations. We do not know if, at this time, whether or not they were together when they went missing or if they were separate when they went missing. All we know is that they went missing on the same day from those locations where they were last seen. Or not that they went missing from those, that they were last seen at those locations and went missing on the same day is probably the best way to accurately describe it. Reddy says, been a while, but what's a barricaded subject if in custody? It was a barricaded subject. So somebody was barricaded inside of a home on this street. And when you're barricaded, you're resisting law enforcement and you're not complying and you are
I assume they're referencing our banner because we still have barricaded subject. I can take barricaded out if you want.
Yeah, I mean, if that makes it easier for people to understand.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, yeah, Mama, great question. Hey, JB, what about the circumstance leading to police to believe that they're in danger? Just curious. I was on stream last night, Mama, and I will tell you that that was the subject of a lot of the live stream last night, is that police would not tell us why they escalated the case to missing and endangered, but they said that they received new information yesterday that led them to believe that they're now not just missing, that they're endangered. So what could that, without speculating, I'm going to provide some context here. If they're missing, all right, could these 2 have just vanished to elope, for example, and maybe, get married in some corner of the world or corner of the country that we're unfamiliar with, and that's them being missing, right? And, that's one thing. Missing and no, they received new information that these 2 specifically could be in danger, or I think the words were considered to be endangered. So what that information is, that was not specified. They said that they would not release information as to why they upgraded the missing persons alert. But it's something that I wanted, answers on too. I'll just throw this up. Read it. Speaks for itself. It's a comment from Chris. Speaks for itself. I will just say that one of the first things that was answered to us in the media, that these 2 were not deported, that there was no ICE component to it, that they were not deported, that there was no international reason as to why they went missing. That was checked on pretty early, as we understand it, from local authorities. And so, yep. All right, let's continue on. Where we're waiting the press conference, we'll continue. People keep asking about the bridge. There's the shot. Thank God the winds have stopped. The winds were really bad earlier. And there was a law enforcement boat in the water.
There was also more law enforcement vehicles there. It looks like they've condensed down to just one law enforcement vehicle. And actually, it looks like here you can see those the two cars there with the yellow orange lights. Those are, I believe, are, they have those signs, the signals that tell you to merge because the lane is closed.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they're also starting to move. Maybe they're packing up and leaving. I'm not sure, but it's certainly less activity than we have seen previously there.
Yeah, actually, am I imagining things, or is that vehicle in motion?
Yeah, well, no, it is in motion. It is moving. And
So
the lights have been turned off from what I can see. There was a flash there a second ago, but it doesn't look like they are. Oh, maybe it's just the glare. I can kind of see it still happening here. But it looks like they are
This certainly
clearing the
isn't-
scene
yeah.
up a bit.
This certainly isn't the scene it was 6-7 hours ago.
No.
All right, back here.
And it looks like there's a boat. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back.
It's just beneath the photo there.
Let me get rid of the photo.
Yep, and you can see that it looks like lights as well there. So more. This is a different boat than the one we saw previously. The one we saw previously was a bit smaller. But that looks like a sheriff's office vessel in the water there.
Let's continue answering questions as we await the press conference. We're speaking with you on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and TikTok Live. Zooming in on a shot here as well. Another deputy just getting out here at the scene. I'm curious if there's we might very well be in the evidence collection phase of this particular response. Let's come back and continue to keep our audience company and provide as much as we can. Oh. Well, yeah. So, Clancy, our helicopter is down for maintenance. And we really we're hoping that we could use that in our coverage today because people can really get quite literally a different perspective on a story when you have an aerial shot. And it just so happens that our helicopter, Eagle 8 HD, is down for maintenance. It's very, very important that we get our helicopter routine maintenance so that we are flying in the sky as safe as can be. Why are there no helicopters in the sky from a law enforcement standpoint? I didn't hear any. I'd be curious if Victoria heard any choppers. Did you hear any choppers earlier?
I don't remember hearing any choppers. I mean, I know that we saw what looked like some fairly high winds on that bridge camera that we were looking at for the Howard Frankland, and I know that there's when you're taking a helicopter up, there's obviously weather conditions that you have to take in factor. I don't know if those were strong enough to prevent police helicopters or sheriff's office helicopters from taking flight today. I'm not sure.
Let's see. Let's just throw up this question because I know that it's only natural for people to think this. Jeremiah Parker wants to know, hey JV, hey Garrett, are the students in the water? Stephanie wants to know what was found under the bridge. So we do not know. And so we do not know how this scene is connected as of right now to the missing USF students. It's been relayed to me via source that it is. However, what's that next to look at that. Oh, they have a diver in the water. Oh my goodness. Right as we took this question, I just saw it.
I see it too.
There's
You can still see
the
it
splashing. So they have a diver in the water. At least one, maybe two.
You can actually see there's a second boat
Right
on the
there,
other side
the edge
of the bridge. Yeah, you can just barely see it next to the
Yep.
sheriff's office vehicle that is on the bridge just to the side. You can see off of that.
So divers in the water. Whether or not this is evidence gathering, we do not know. But with certainty, we can now say, and I had a feeling like this is where things were headed when we had the boats arriving here to this section of the bridge. In fact, I would be surprised if this is the first time they've had divers in the water. This is a scene that began forming, I think, really early this morning during the morning commute.
Yeah, it was prior to 8 a.m. that I had first heard about it.
Yeah,
so
prior to
and who knows-
7:30
Yeah, who
for
knows
me,
how
so-
earlier than that.
I would imagine that there's a very good chance, we can't say with certainty, but there's a very good chance that this is not the first time divers have been in the water, but we can now confirm with our own two eyes from the traffic camera here that divers are in the water. underneath the bridge. We'll keep an eye on that shot for you. And if we see any action on it, we'll go back to it. I promise. It's just a tap away on the touchscreen here in the Stream Center. Garrett Phillips, JB Buno here with you in the Stream Center, by the way, awaiting this press conference that will be beginning. We were told, we were given a heads up, it was going to be soon.
We were told, let me check and see here. What time were we told about this press conference?
Let's see.
We were told around 12:20, about an hour ago. At the time, we were told that there was no time given. It was just a time kind of TBD, if you will. And so that was about an hour ago. I want to say 20, 30 minutes ago, we saw our camera shots being set up over, they had to cross the street and set up here where obviously the media has been staged for this press conference. And then, yeah, that has been the last we heard. And as they were doing the mic check, I assume it was the PIO officer, whoever that was, doing the mic checks. We heard her on camera say as well that she couldn't tell us what time they would be speaking, but hopefully it would be soon. So, yeah, we are currently just waiting like you all are as well, watching us now, waiting patiently or maybe impatiently, waiting to hear what they're going to reveal at this press conference.
Domain says, hey, JB, and again, while we're waiting for the press conference, if you're just joining us, we're answering your questions out of the TikTok Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live chat using hashtag HeyJB or hashtag HeyGarrett. For Stream Center producer Garrett Phillips, I'm JB Buno. Let's continue on. Domain wants to know, are there not cameras on the USF campus? Of course there are. It's a college campus. They have surveillance. And you would imagine that the team from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office in tandem with USF police have been combing through every bit of video that they can get to try to find signs of Nahida and Zamil, but we don't have access to those cameras, and we don't have any idea as to how exactly.
It's interesting. We just got emails in. Looks like the same email. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office will hold a press conference to provide an update regarding 2 University of South Florida students who have been reported missing and endangered. It says when, time to be determined. But then they list the staging area, which obviously we know we are already there. Due to the active and ongoing nature of this investigation, no additional information will be released in advance. Updates will be provided during the press conference. So that is what we are currently waiting on. Basically, this is an email saying, don't expect anything before we get up to speak at the microphone, which they have already set up. We're hoping it will be soon. But yeah, we are currently in a holding pattern, as all of you are as well, waiting for the sheriff's office to kind of give this update.
I should point out that I believe was Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer going into that house with a couple of other what appeared to be law enforcement personnel. So,
wonder if he's just arrived on the scene and is getting all the information before stepping up to speak right now.
All right, hold on.
I'm seeing as well, yeah.
Yeah, that. Can we
Sure.
load that somewhere?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see. Can you load that
You tell me where you want it.
into B, please?
Okay. One moment.
Thank you. We have some new video that might provide some clarity on the site that we showed you earlier from Drone 8. While we don't have our helicopter right now because it's down for maintenance, we do have an entire fleet of drones that we can get in the air here at WFLA. And while these drones, common use for these drones is, the most stunning sunsets you will ever see, they are also very handy for breaking news when Eagle 8 HD is out for maintenance. So we'll have some video there to show you soon.
It's in there now. I don't know if it's the correct format, but I would just check that. And if you need me to get off stream for a moment to change something, I can do so.
All right, stand by. Muting mics for 20 seconds. Stand by. All right, welcome back. We are getting this video into the correct format so that we can display it for you on stream. Garrett's behind me working on that right now. So in the meantime, let's go back to the live podium shot. And we'll continue to answer questions with Hey JB or Hey Garrett. Liz wants to know, hey JB, how did they stumble on this barricaded subject? We don't know. We don't know how this scene formed. We don't know if A led to B. What we know is that early this morning, a scene began developing here at the Howard Frankland Bridge, where we now know that divers are in the water. We initially didn't know what this was. We began working the phones, trying to find out why multiple lanes were closed. Then a forensics unit pulled up on site. That, of course, set off alarm bells for us. We continued working the phones, and then a source told me that that the response on the Howard Frankland Bridge was in fact connected to the missing USF students. However, we don't know how. And so how did that scene become this one with the SWAT operation and the barricaded subject? We don't know. That's what this press conference is likely going to provide some clarity on. Garrett is now back.
I believe it should be good for you to go now.
So let me see if I can grab this video for everybody real quick. We do it all here in the stream center, by the way. We do not have a control room. So we do everything here. Let me see if I can bring this up now. Hopefully this works. Okay. The site that we showed you earlier that popped up out of nowhere.
That's the whole video.
On Drone 8. That's it. Okay. So a Hillsborough County forensics services van was at that site. So the scene that is near the Howard Frankland Bridge site that we showed you earlier on Drone 8, which we saw a lot of Pinellas County personnel, also had a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office forensics unit on site. So all of this happening in the same time frame, and all of this with the two primary law enforcement agencies attached to the missing USF students case. This is the only scene, by the way, that at this time we can't definitively say is connected to the missing USF students, but based on all the other law enforcement activity, we are showing it to you just to provide some additional context as to how enormous the law enforcement response is here across multiple sites.
1 2 check. Sound good?
Oh, wait.
Check. 1 2. Mic check 1 2. You good? Cool.
All right, I saw.
Could be a good sign.
At the moment I saw somebody walk up to the podium, it's my instinct to hit the touchscreen. But it looked
As
like
we wait too, if you want to see, you can take that traffic cam. It looks like they have now opened Howard Frankland there.
Wow. Okay, so that's significant news for the area. Traffic is now resuming across all lanes of the Howard Frankland Bridge. That's a significant update for drivers in the area, especially those who are getting ready for their Friday evening commute.
News 13 too. Check that one actually.
Okay. Let's hot swap that. There it is. So still quite a bit of traffic backed up, but things will be getting back to, normal for the Howard Frankland Bridge here. We anticipate soon. All lanes back and open. So there's the video that we're showing you, that there was a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office forensic van at that additional site that we saw earlier from Drone 8 near the Howard Frankland Bridge site. So we can't say definitively at this time that they are linked, but it's there's a lot of pieces right now that we are observing and trying to make sense of. So, Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer, I believe he disappeared behind that unit, that vehicle there with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I don't know if he went into the house or if he might have gone into that mobile HQ. I don't know, but that's who we are waiting on to begin this press conference. In the meantime, we'll continue answering questions from Facebook Live, TikTok Live, YouTube Live with Hey JB or Hey Garrett.
Yeah, JB, it looks like this shot too is a little bit ahead of the other shot.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Yeah. So this will be the one to see when they actually step up. This will be the first look at it.
Agreed. And if I'm looking at the comment section, Garrett, would you mind keep an eye on the... Yeah,
I will absolutely.
We'll try. Yeah, just shout it out.
Yeah, not a problem.
Don't want to miss the beginning of the presser. Domain, how is the suspect connected to the students? Unclear. In fact, we know that the missing students are, yes, students at USF, and this person is not a student.
Yeah, we're hoping to learn that connection here once they speak to the media shortly. You've got him now standing at the mic. It's not...
I didn't see if the divers had left yet, Anton.
I didn't see boats in the water, but that does not mean that they could not have been under the bridge where we could not see them or off camera.
Again, Hey JB, Hey Garrett, if you want your comment featured on our live stream. That's basically the consent system that we have, where you communicate to us that you want your comment to be featured on our live stream, because when we take it shows your profile picture, it shows your username, it shows your comment, and we don't want to pluck comments out of the comment section if you don't want that information on a live stream to thousands. So we take that very seriously. So that's why this show is called Hey JB. It's because it's a means for us to kind of explain the news stories that we are covering a little bit more by quite literally answering your questions on screen. And sometimes, oftentimes I should say rather, it doesn't even have to be a question. If you just want to voice, words of support for the family, if you want to let us know where you're watching from. Some people say, Hey JB, tuning in from so-and-so country, really, terrified for what this family might be going through right now. We put up comments like that too. So anything that's appropriate for stream with Hey JB or Hey Garrett we'll throw up on stream as we wait for this press conference to actually get underway.
Too there. We just got a little bit of new info.
Okay. So the area where the vans were spotted leaving from was the Household Hazardous Waste Center. How does that fit in? I'll bring up oh yeah, I see that. Across the bridge. Okay. Interesting.
That's the forensics van that we had just shown previously here, leaving the previously unknown location, and I believe that was in Pinellas County.
Shannon here, and hello to Momo joining us from New Orleans. Shannon here is thinking like a reporter. Could the parking lot be a staging area for the Howard Frankland operation? This is a very, 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 very good question. And without diving too much into speculation, these are some of the conversations that we have. So Shannon, hat tip, because that's something that we're curious of ourselves. Leah says, were the students found or are they still missing? They are still missing. Until we are told otherwise, this is still a missing persons case. Craig says, welcome back. Yeah, I shared some news a short time ago that I'm back to doing regular live streaming. It is good to be back, being able to do news live streaming on a regular basis. Garrett and others here at WFLA are a big reason for that. And so thank you. That's all I'm going to say is thank you. We appreciate. I've seen a few of those messages, and I just want to say thanks. It's good to be back doing live streaming and helping tell stories for a living. It's what I do. All right, APC. Let's go over the 101 for this commenter. We are talking about Nahida Bristi and Zamil Limon, 27 years old, two students from the University of South Florida pursuing their doctorate degrees, and they have gone missing. Now, last night, it was upgraded to missing and endangered. Now, police wouldn't tell us why it was upgraded to missing and endangered, but they received new information that led them to believe that the two are in danger. Now, they disappeared on Thursday, April 16th. That's 8 days ago. Zamil was last seen at his home. Nahida was last seen at the NES building on the USF campus. Why they were able to just disappear and how they were able to just disappear, I mean, all these questions we're hoping to get answers on soon, especially with this press conference. Maybe we get closer to those answers. Now, that takes us to this morning. We have a scene that first unfolds at the Howard Frankland Bridge, a scene that had a forensics unit drive up, and then a source telling me, an unnamed source telling me that scene in particular was connected to the missing USF students. And then we had this scene unfold, a SWAT operation for a barricaded subject connected to the missing USF students, confirmed in a press release by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. That barricaded subject was taken into custody. They are not a USF student, but they are connected to the case in some way, shape, or form. And that's where we are now here live for a press conference, and I'll show the podium shot here again. The podium shot is for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer to give us the latest on this story. Garrett, you got something?
Two things. One, we are about to swap a battery on one of these cameras. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out which camera so that we can make sure we cut away from it for a moment. But also check Teams.
Okay. Stand by. And we're back. Julie is tuning in from Minnesota.
And that camera shot should be good to go again. So we are...
Michelle, one of our great YouTube moderators, and saying hello to Lynn as well. Some others out there helping us moderate our channel. Michelle with a great question. Hey, JB and Garrett, do we know they're doctoral students, but do we know any specific research they may have been working on? If so, do we think that could be related to them going missing? And Michelle, I think I know what you're referencing. But we only know the what they were studying, like what their doctorate was in. Michelle and Garrett, do you have that information handy by any chance?
I'm going to try and find it right now.
I had it last night. Steve says, first thing, welcome back. Thank you. Second thing, do you know how they went missing? We don't. We know where they went missing from.
Well, we know where they were last seen.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, by the way.
Right. I've seen a lot of people confused about why that, if she went missing from campus, why did she not get found on the camera getting kidnapped or taken or leaving or whatever the case might be? It's because that was where they were last seen does not mean that was their last location before they
were a missing
disappeared.
person.
They were
Yeah.
a missing person. The two of them could have planned to meet up for drinks somewhere or to, I don't know, go to a trivia night or whoever knows what it could have been. They could have been planning to meet somewhere and then met somewhere and then went missing or became a missing person at that point. It's just simply that the last witness viewing that we have of these two individuals is at the campus and at the residence. Again, that doesn't mean it was the last place that they were, I hate to say safe because I don't want to imply that they're not safe now, but
Well, they are endangered.
they are in danger. That is true. So the last place that they were safe, if you want to put it that way, it does not mean that those were those two locations. Only that is the last time they were seen.
Megan also thinking like a reporter here, and I appreciate some of the really great questions that we got this question last night too, Megan, and it's a big one because in a missing persons case, you're not just looking for the individuals, but their means of travel. So Megan wants to know, hey, JB, do the missing students have cars? If so, where are their cars? I have not read any information from investigators as to whether or not they have a vehicle. But I will say this. If they did have a vehicle and it was missing, then that would absolutely be part of the missing persons alert, and they would put out a BOLO. Be on the lookout for a vehicle matching this description. So we haven't seen that yet.
I do also know that USA Today apparently said that the Zamil Limon is pursuing a degree in geography,
Thank you. Yep.
environmental science, and policy, and that Naheed Bristi was studying chemical engineering. So a pretty wide range of topics that they were studying.
Let's go to Jamie real quick. So if we're talking about the barricaded suspect, we don't know their
We
race.
don't know anything about. I mean, we don't actually know if it's a guy or a girl or who it could be.
If you're talking about the two missing students, they're originally from Bangladesh. Let's see here. I just saw a particular question that I want to hone in on, but did I lose it? Did it get deleted? Oh, here it is. Cassandra on YouTube Live. Hey, JB, were the missing students a couple? We've answered this a couple of times, but for our audience members just tuning in, it's been communicated to us the two are friends. Zamil's brother was interviewed by News Nation, our friends over at News Nation, and he indicated that there were his exact words. I don't want to put words in his mouth. He said there used to be feelings. So that leads me to believe that there was a romantic link between the two at some point, but that they then remained friends. But he did confirm that there was, again, the quote was feelings between the two at some point in the past.
Can we put up our shot on 7 just so that we have, instead of the VO, just so I can monitor it a little easier?
Sure.
Don't want to be on
Right.
live stream, just
There, yeah.
profile shot.
So we're
sometime.
waiting for them to walk over to the podium or the microphone and begin speaking. This is quite the delay.
Yeah, it was announced that there would be some sort of press conference, I believe, around 12:20. We are now at 1:45. We're about, an hour and a half away, roughly, from when they announced that they would be speaking to the media. And so, yeah, I'm not sure why the delay, what could be holding everything up. We also know that Sheriff Chronister is not going to be speaking today, that they have announced that it would be, and just totally lost their name too. Give me one
Joseph
moment.
Maurer.
Joseph Maurer, thank you. Yeah, the assistant deputy, I believe it was. So yeah, we are currently waiting for Joseph Maurer to.
And I believe,
approach.
look, I'm just gonna. I'm like 90% sure that he's right there in the blue polo. I don't know if our photographer team is listening right now. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't.
They were zoomed in on it just briefly for a moment a little bit ago.
The gentleman in the blue polo on the front lawn of that home right there in view, I'm pretty darn sure is Joseph Maurer. Oh, look at that. I think our team is listening. Shout out to our awesome WFLA photography team. To the photographer listening in, because I'm very in. Is it Joe?
I believe
All
so.
right, so that makes this easier. Hey Joe, if you're listening to our live stream right now, would you do me a solid? If you have heard whether or not that's Chief Deputy Maurer, I believe it is. Can you throw a thumbs up in front of that camera? I know you can't really talk to us, but if you want to throw a thumb, yeah. Oh, so there was a kind of a look right back at the camera from him. I'm just trying to find out. Look. And a lot of people shouting out Joe in the comment section, doing the real work out there today.
I think
So you're shaking no.
As in, no, you don't know, or no, it's not.
No, it's not, or no. Yeah. Joe, you can email me or text me or Garrett. By the way, there's there's that option too. We're trying to do sign language from the field. But hat tip to Joe for listening in.
I'm getting a text from him right now, actually. No, I don't know.
Oh, no. Okay, so he doesn't know if that's Mao or not. I think it is, but
Thank you, Joe.
yeah. Can we also find who's on the other shot? We have two photographers there.
Let me see if we can find out.
Joe, if you're listening, let us know. But again, I am pretty sure that right there is the person we're waiting on to speak. Now, what could the holdup be? I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. Again, we noted earlier that things appear to be quite loose here at the scene.
Jeremy's
a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs. So, I'm sorry, who was it?
Jeremy's on the other shot.
Oh, Jeremy. Okay, good. So Jeremy and Joe, let everybody know if they want to give a shout out to the team out there that's been working really hard for us today. Jeremy and Joe are our two photojournalists in the field doing extraordinary work and helping us cover this breaking news story. Our team here representing local journalism. Yeah, they're fantastic and they deserve a lot of love. If that is Chief Deputy Maurer, which I'm pretty sure it is. I'm curious as to what the whole. I can only help but wonder aloud whether or not they are waiting for something to develop or become clear from another scene or another location. They're clearly waiting on something, and it's just we're trying to find out what that is. So if you're just joining us, I'm JB Buno. On the right side, that's Garrett Phillips. Joe and Jeremy are two very talented photographers. You saw Victoria Lucas earlier on the live stream. And we're awaiting a press conference. A press conference that I think now is 90 minutes past the announcement of that press conference.
It should be noted that the announcement did say that a time would be to be determined in the future. It was not. They're not late, right? They didn't say we're going to have a press conference and now we're an hour and a half past that time that they gave us. They simply said we will be speaking to the media, and they said we don't know what time it will be, but it will happen today. So we are currently waiting for that to happen.
I'm trying to find out what's going on. It's not all that common for them to set up a microphone. Oh, and see, right as I start to,
well, maybe not
get loud about this. Yeah, I was going to say, right. Usually they set up a microphone. That's usually because things are going to begin here very shortly. So.
They walked across the street, but no one has approached the microphone yet.
Laura with another great point. We mentioned this earlier, Laura. Hey, JB, could it be that they have to notify family first? Yeah. We were talking earlier about how this process can work.
They could also be waiting on information from the scene at the Howard Frankland Bridge.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Are they waiting for something from that second scene, or really what you could argue was the first scene? Are they waiting on word to reach the family members? Are they interrogating the suspect right now? Here we go. Watch this. This is employee with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, I believe.
One last mic check if anybody needs it.
Here we go.
One last mic check. You'll be hearing from Chief Deputy Joseph Maurer. ABC 1, 2, 3. You guys are good? Great.
All right, so a final mic check as we get ready for this press conference. He's Garrett. I'm JB. Welcome into the Stream Center, folks. As we engage a new audience here, we are live across many, many different platforms and many, many different places. It's good to have you with us. We wish under better circumstances. We are continuing our coverage of the missing USF students here in Tampa, Florida. Those two students, Nahida Bristi and Zamil Limon, 27 years old, pursuing their doctorate degrees at the University of South Florida in Tampa. They have been missing for 8 days, and it's been without question the most significant day in the search yet, because we've had multiple scenes develop, one on the Howard Frankland Bridge, one here at the Lake Forest community off of Bruce B. Downs Boulevard near the USF campus. A lot has transpired, but the most significant development has been a barricaded subject that was the focus of a SWAT operation right here on this street. That barricaded subject was taken into custody, and it was confirmed to us via press release that the barricaded subject is connected to the missing USF students.
About a minute ago, Joe sent me a text, said 5-minute warning. So they were given a 5-minute warning, I guess, on scene for when to expect this press conference.
So to our team in the newsroom, talking to our whole team out there, that's a 5-minute warning as of about a minute to 2 minutes ago. So
hopefully,
really any moment now for all the alerts and all the streams that we have to set up or whatever it may be, everything that we're getting set up for this press conference, we've now basically entered the 5-minute warning window. I'm sorry.
I'm looking now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's reportable, right? Okay. Okay. Suspect in custody, 26-year-old Hisham Abu Garbi. Hisham Abu Garbe. I believe it's Abu Garbe. And that's a date of birth, May 17th, 1999, just released moments ago by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I will say it again, a 26-year-old by the name of Hisham Abu Garbe in custody in relation to the missing USF students here in Tampa Bay, Florida. So we now have suspect information. That is what is going to be announced at the press conference. The reason why we were quite literally sent a picture because it has the spelling of the suspect, which I will read aloud for transparency. I'll read it aloud. Hisham is the first name. It is spelled Hisham. Last name Abu Garbe, spelled Abugharbieh. 26 years old. Again, we found out earlier, not a USF student. May 17th, 1999 is the date of birth. All now public information released by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I'm sure we will find out more about Hisham here at this press conference that's about to begin momentarily. But that is the suspect and the barricaded subject that was taken into custody a short time ago. I'm sure by now our team doing background checks and trying to find out more on this person. In fact, I'm going to do it right here. You already on that, Garrett?
I'm just checking to see a few places.
I found a Hisham Abu Garbe, but that is not a 27-year-old, or 26-year-old. Huh. Huh. That's interesting. I'm going to mute Mike. Stand by. Welcome back. So the reason why is we're trying to find out whether or not this person has a record. And we're checking right now on a, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. Hisham Abu Garbe. Yeah, that's exactly the one I was looking at, Garrett.
Yep.
We found the same one. I don't know if we found the same arrest, though. Does that date of birth line up? It does.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm seeing two different mugs, though.
I am also seeing two different mugshots. I'm going to wait for our team just to go through the necessary paces. But once again, for those of you just joining us, the press conference hasn't begun.
We were told 5 minutes ago. That was about
5 minutes ago. Yeah.
So we should be seeing someone soon here.
Yeah, spelling exactly the same, date of birth exactly the same. This has got to be him. This is too rare of a name.
I now see three different ones.
It's also Hillsborough. You see three? So are we? Yeah, we are potentially. We're still fact finding here.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about somebody who might have.
Mic check testing 1 2 3. Everyone ready? All right, Chief Deputy Maurer will be out to brief you guys shortly on this incident.
Okay. We might be talking about somebody as we're putting it through the paces. But if this is all lining up the way that I see it lining up, we're talking about somebody that might have multiple prior arrests. We'll let our team, put it through the process and put it through all the necessary paces. We're vetting, obviously, the information. And I would imagine that we might get some clarity here during this press conference as well. Because we have I am looking at it right here, a Hisham Abu Garbe arrested in Hillsborough County, Florida, right here, with the same exact date of birth of May 17th, 1999. So we'll get, if he has prior arrests, we'll get an entire list and we'll break it down on stream after the press conference is done. Let me be clear, regardless of what happens at this press conference, regardless of what we learn or don't learn, Garrett and I will be back here with you live the moment it's over to discuss what we have learned and also break down the latest that our newsroom has figured out as far as looking into the 26-year-old suspect, Hisham Abu Garbe. Date of birth, May 17th, 1999. Garrett, we're not alone, by the way, in looking up prior arrests. Here we go.
I'm joined here today by my good friend and University of South Florida Police Department Chief of Police, Chris Daniel. We are here today as our community has been shaken by the disappearance of two USF grad students, Nahida and Zamil. I am heartbroken to announce the discovery of human remains discovered on the Howard Frankland Bridge earlier this morning. Just now, those remains were positively identified to Zamil. How did we get here today? We have a suspect in custody. How did that happen? Today at approximately 9 a.m., we received a domestic violence call for service. Units responded. We knew that this was the home of the suspect. Units responded. We were able to take the family out of the residence and get them to safety. At that time, we commanded the suspect to come out to our deputies. He refused. That happened for some time, about 20 minutes or so. Commands were continued to give to the suspect. He did not respond, nor did he come out. At that time, SWAT was activated. SWAT responded, and at approximately 10:36 a.m., SWAT arrived on scene. SWAT then mobilized and commanded the suspect to come out of the residence. At that time, he came out peacefully and was taken into custody. These are the charges of the suspect. The suspect's name is Hisham. The charges we have so far are domestic violence, simple battery, domestic violence, false imprisonment, tampering with evidence, failure to report death to LEO or MEO, and unlawfully hold or move a dead human body in unapproved condition. Let me just take this opportunity to talk to you before we get into questions and before I hand it off to Chief Daniel. You know, Sheriff Chronister's #1 priority is to keep this community safe and to locate these two USF students. And working collectively with USF Police Department and Chief Daniel, we did that. We looked and we had every stone uncovered between his assets and ours. When I tell you I had hundreds of detectives and deputies and assets looking for Nahida and Zamil, that is the truth. Anywhere between my criminal investigations division, my special investigations division, aviation assets, marine assets, drone operators, and SWAT, and our crisis negotiation team, and our bomb team here today. This is still an active investigation, so you will have a lot of questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. But please understand, I will answer them as best as I can without jeopardizing the investigation we have thus far. I want to thank our partners. I want to thank again, Chief, thank you for all your help. The USF Police Department, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, the Clearwater Police Department. Everybody came together in this community, in this Bay Area, to try and find a safe resolution for Nahida and Zamil. Chief?
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I want to restate the sorrow we feel for the families. President Moaz, Lamayam, the leadership staff at USF, the USF Police Department, we really assert safety on campus. We do everything we can to make the campus safe. This is the last thing that we want to happen. Our hearts go out to the families, to the students at USF that knew these other students. And going forward, I just want to thank the chief, all the deputies that came out to help us. It was amazing to see the teamwork, the agencies across the Bay that helped us. It wouldn't be for all that help that we would be where we are today. And it's not the ending we hoped for, but we do appreciate the collaboration and the partnerships.
Available for any questions you may have. Great question. So the human remains that we were discovered this morning was one body, and that has been positively identified to Zamil. We are still actively searching for Nahida. And again, I implore the community, if you have any tips of where you've seen her or she's just recently seen, please report it to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office immediately so we can recover her to safety. We don't have any indication to think that she is or she is not. We are still actively trying to recover Nahida. The suspect initially, when we made initial contact, was talking. Yesterday we re-interviewed the suspect. He did talk and then he ended the interview. Right now, currently, he is at our Criminal Investigations Division speaking with detectives. At this time, we have no indications to think that he was not working alone. But again, active investigation. Right now, we don't have any inclination to think that he was working with anybody else. So the suspect, Hisham, was a roommate of Zamil. So that is where the connection lies. Nahida did not live on that property. Nahida lived on USF campus. So the connection is that the suspect, Hisham, and Zamil were roommates. Through investigative measures, we are able to link the suspect to this case and to this body. Right now, we are pending the autopsy results for manner and cause of death, which is at the Pinellas County in Pinellas County. We should be getting results of that at the quickest, maybe tomorrow.
What are the immigration statuses of people and diversity?
They are on student visas and they are here in this country legally.
And the immigration status of the suspect?
The suspect, he was born, he is a U.S. citizen. Still working through that. The question was, what is the motive? We're still working through that. It's still an active investigation. At this time, that's up to the medical examiner and the autopsy. We will get those results again, perhaps tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. The suspect is the roommate of Zamil. Thank you all. I'm sorry. We're still working the investigation, so we need the community's help. Any tips we have to see her last known location, where has she been seen recently? If anybody has that information, please contact the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Now, I would love to answer those questions, but again, still active investigation. All right, thank you.
Breaking news here in the Stream Center. The remains of Zamil Limon found at the Howard Frankland Bridge this morning by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Nahida Bristi, a missing person in this case, still unaccounted for, and the suspect is now in custody facing charges after a SWAT operation taking place right here on this street in Hillsborough County, Florida. Welcome back to the Stream Center, folks, on Hey JB from the Stream Center with Garrett Phillips. I'm JB Buno. The whole purpose of this now is to engage our audience and to speak with you back and forth and explain what just happened. I was writing notes as quickly as I could. A lot of new information here, but we have to begin with the heartbreaking update that the remains of Zamil Limon were found at the Howard Frankland Bridge police response this morning. The reason for all the traffic and the reason for the forensic unit pulling up there is because the remains of just the singular missing USF student were found at that location. Garrett, this was a heartbreaking update that we knew could be possible. We didn't know what was going to be discovered at the bridge site, but we now know that the remains of Zamil Limon have been positively identified by law enforcement.
Right, obviously not the outcome that you want for him or his family. Now at this point, I think everybody is kind of going to shift focus to the hopefully safe return of Nahida Bristi, who at this point in time has not been found, to what we understand. There's no body. It seems that the one body that was found at the Howard Frankland Bridge was solely belonging to Zamil. No second body was found. So there is still hope that maybe there is still something good that can come out of this, but certainly not the update that you were hoping for Zamil Limon or his family. We're currently looking into the suspect who was barricaded in the home earlier this morning and was taken into custody. Hisham Abu Garbe, I believe is how you say it. I could have mispronounced that.
Yeah, I believe the chief deputy also avoided saying the last name because a fear of mispronunciation. I have it as Hisham Abu Garbe. I don't know if that's correct. That's how I read it in when I initially saw the name. And
we're learning more about this suspect as we are kind of combing through records. There are, in fact, actually a couple. JB, I don't know if you had a chance to.
I'm looking at it right
now.
Yeah,
there's a couple of charges in his past that obviously are not anything to this significance, but I've seen traffic records. I have seen records for breaking or trespassing rather on property, for assault. So there are multiple counts on his record.
And you heard there this morning that they had been interviewing him, that he had been on their radar, but it was upon arriving at the home today that originally they had to make sure that the family was not a complication with the SWAT operation. He refused to comply with law enforcement because of this is a domestic violence call. That's originally what began. And now we have domestic violence charges against him, as well as the unlawful removing of a body. The list of charges came out so fast, I was writing them down. I know our team is playing it back right now slower so we can get all the charges down to a T and make sure that we have this correct. A commenter asked earlier, will this interfere with school buses coming home in this neighborhood? And there you have an answer. They're letting school buses by. And so Nahida Bristy, 27 years old, is still unaccounted for. A short time ago on this live stream, we showed you divers getting into the water. Undoubtedly, they are searching to make sure that there is no additional evidence that they have missed in the waters of Tampa Bay under the Howard Frankland Bridge, the main thoroughfare between Tampa and St. Petersburg. So we do know that divers are in the water and are scanning for more. But right now, only the remains of Zamil Limon have been found. A 27-year-old doctoral student from Bangladesh, studying here in the United States at the University of South Florida, a friend of Nahida Bristy, and now, as we understand it, Garrett, the roommate of the suspect, Hisham Abu Garbe.
Yeah, we had heard previously about a roommate in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, now I think that we can say that was Hisham. And one thing I did note as the charges were being read out, there was not a charge, to my knowledge, from what I heard, regarding a murder, homicide, right, anything like that. It was simply charges of, I believe, mishandling of a body and hiding or concealing evidence of a crime. Nothing that directly mentions his connection to the death of Zamil. Now, whether that's because, again, most likely I think maybe it's because they don't have any evidence to bring those types of charges forward yet, or they don't have that finalized. It's a lot harder to bring that type of charge, I think, than it would be to bring the charges they read off. But we do not know why that has not been officially something that has been charged to Hisham as of this time. So we are still waiting for more information. Will more charges be forthcoming? We do not know yet.
And we know that it's so common when we do these live streams. It happens quite a bit when we're covering cases like this, where we hear later on that the family was because we're quite accessible for local media. I want to actually pause this right here. As far as local media goes, we're probably the most accessible in Tampa Bay. We put our streams out on YouTube. We put our streams out on Facebook and TikTok, and that makes it accessible to an international audience. And we've heard in the past that that's how people find our coverage, of course. And so I just want to be clear with this heartbreaking and terrible news with Zamil. Our prayers, our condolences go out to Zamil's family, and now that there's so much more of an urgent focus on Nahida and finding where she may be, and perhaps there is some hope that Nahida hasn't succumbed to the same fate as Zamil. For this fact and this fact alone, the two were living together. Zamil and Hisham were living together. And Nahida, while also missing for the same period of time, had her own separate residence. I'm trying to find some light of hope that we can hold on to, that Nahida hasn't had the same thing happen to her, especially considering that at this stage we only have the remains of Zamil being found, and she remains a missing persons case. But my goodness, I can't help but think of the family right now, these two families, what they're going through, their heartbreak. Our thoughts and prayers are with those families, because this is absolutely the worst outcome for Zamil's family, and now the most concerning of outcomes for Nahida's family.
Right. No, absolutely nothing that you can feel really good about here. We're currently working on trying to get, I know, his mugshot approved and a few other things. We're talking about, of course.
So
go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll just get to this comment while you're looking some stuff up. Yeah. Hey, JB from, I think that's for I can't say the name. Apologies. Hey, JB, who made the domestic violence allegations and who was being violated? Great question. But in a case of domestic violence, a victim is never going to be made public, especially in a high-profile case such as this one. So there was clearly a domestic violence incident at the home that occurred this morning, family members present, and so that resulted in the escalation where the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office had to make sure the family was okay, and then the barricaded subject being Hashim Abu Garbe, and him being non-compliant. non-cooperative is the appropriate term. And so it was after a period of time that he was able to peacefully surrender himself. But we do not know what. We know the charges. There was simple battery and false imprisonment to the commenter. But we don't know who was the victim of this domestic violence allegation.
No, we do not. And we do also have a little bit more clarity on that Pinellas County site that we had seen previously.
That's right.
They had talked about that they were waiting for evidence to be processed to try and figure out the cause of death for Zamil Limon. And that was something that was being handled in Pinellas County. We had a drone shot up earlier around the household hazardous waste facility in Pinellas County, which is, by the way, right across the street from, I believe, the training facility for the divers that we maybe had seen previously as well. And so that was, I don't know if that's what they were using as a staging area for the investigation that was going on at the Howard Frankland at the time, but it certainly was seemingly at this point connected to that, and that is now where they are waiting for more information as to what happened to Zamil Limon and how, of course, his roommate Hisham might have been connected to it.
We are going to be on stream for another 10 minutes, 10-minute warning to our audience. As we have been going now for several hours, we'll need to take a break and regroup and reassess everything. I'm going to do this just twice. So let me do this the first time first. And Josh is way better at this than me. To our audience looking for more coverage on this story, we're gonna be live for another 10 minutes. But for people looking for coverage on this story, you can follow us on our social accounts. You can go to WFLA.com, the WFLA app, but really a lot of people watching in on social media. You can subscribe to us. This is where I'm bad. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on TikTok. You can click the follow button on Facebook. I think that there's also a bell icon you can click on for notifications for when we go live. We will be undoubtedly having more extensive live streaming coverage on this story, especially with the fact that that Nahida remains missing. So we will be wrapping up the live stream in about 10 minutes so that we can get a break and regroup and reassess. But yes, in the meantime, if that's how you want to get more coverage, because we will be doing more live streams in the future. All right, last call for questions and comments with Hey JB or Hey Garrett. TK, do we know whose house this was that the suspect was taken into custody at? Is this his family's house, or is this where him and Zamil lived? We know that they were roommates at that house, but we don't know who else was residing there. Well, we don't know who the property owner is.
I don't know if we know that they were roommates at the house where the barricade happened, because again, I believe that is on a different street than the one that they said Zamil was a resident at.
Okay,
so if they were roommates at this time, like if they were currently roommates, this might be a separate home. Now, they could have been roommates and more recently split. I don't want to say split in like it was a relationship, but like their housing split happened recently.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but I did a Google Maps search. And again, it's hard to tell because we don't know the exact address of either Zamil Limon's residence that he was staying at or the barricaded home. But I do know that the streets, when I looked up the streets that they were both listed as being on, they were about 10 minutes away. They were at a different location to my knowledge, as of this time.
Stephanie, hey JB, how did Zamil know his roommate since Hisham was not a USF student? I'm sure we will find out more, Stephanie. I hate to give you a non-answer, but if he was a doctoral student, and if Hisham was not a USF student at all, how they met, how they knew each other, how they became roommates is going to be undoubtedly a part of the story going forward.
There's a lot of ways that could happen too. I mean, people are looking for roommates in the area if they're going to school all the time. So it could have been just by happenstance.
Bucky, I want to be very clear. Zamil is the victim here because it has been confirmed that he is deceased. Nahida is still a missing persons case out of Hillsborough County, Florida. But as far as their ages, the two on your screen here, Zamil, who is deceased on the right, and Nahida, who is missing on the left, they are 27 years old, and the and the alleged in this case. We don't know much about a kidnapping, but as far as the suspect in this case is 26 years old, about to turn 27 next month. Let's see. Fari, I want to say that right. Hey JB, any news on Nahida? Like any clues? Nothing. That would have been the first thing at the press conference. Let's see. Yeah, and Garrett asked us earlier, is there a possible love triangle? One more time, we do have the 3 people at play. These 2 on your screen, according to Samil's brother, they had feelings at one point, but they were friends at the time of their disappearance. So there's still a lot of unknown there. Jada says prayers for Zamil's family. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. Yeah, that's this is a nightmare come to life for this family and Zamil's friends, his classmates, people that knew him best. This is the news that you didn't want. And again, I mentioned this earlier. It's very commonplace that that people. But that people connected to the story, maybe classmates of Zamil or Nahida, have found this live stream because they're just scanning social media looking for coverage, and they find, us on YouTube. Again, I want to communicate that we are heartbroken that this is the outcome, but we're also trying to maintain as much hope as possible that Nahida is found alive. Again, this is a last call for Hey JB questions and comments. We're going to do 2 to 3 more questions or comments, but they have to use Hey JB or Hey Garrett. That's our system for taking questions and comments, so that you basically give us the thumbs up that you want us to put your comment and your profile picture and your name on screen. Thinking like an investigator is Lexi saying, hey JB, if the remains of Zamil were found in the water, wouldn't the traffic cam on the bridge have seen the person dumping the body? Now, yeah, yes, in theory. However, how high quality are these at night? And is it possible that somebody disposed of the remains at a high rate of speed at night? That would be the 2 most complicating factors, right? It would be way simpler if a person pulled off onto the side of the interstate on the Howard Frankland, if there was room to do so, and dispose of the remains. But if they just if they were going at 75 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and chucked it out the window, that's going to make it a little bit more challenging. But absolutely, traffic cameras are going to be a massive focal point for this investigation going forward, to see if they can identify the vehicle that was able to make it out there. And also, too,
I wonder if that's how they even got to this scenario today. I mean,
can't help but wonder.
They were, obviously, we knew about the Howard Frankland Bridge scene hours before we knew about the SWAT arrival at the residence where the barricade happened. So perhaps that was part of it. Perhaps that is what tipped them off, but we don't know yet, and we will not know until they release more information about the investigation.
Yeah, no, you're also dealing with a window of time that is entirely unclear. I mean, when they went missing, but I mean, when were the remains disposed of? Zamil's remains. That's a lot of traffic video to go through. It might be a very long process. You just don't know. Can't help but wonder if AI could participate in the process to speed up, like, the investigation, combing through countless hours of video. One more. We'll take one more. Let's see if we can get one more on screen. Thank you for this comment. I'm glad that we were able to bring some exposure to the story. We just wish that the outcome for Zamil was completely the opposite. But we need to get to one more comment before we wrap up our live stream. We'll just go to Emily. Prayers for both families, and that the young woman will be found. That's all we have to say. More live streams on this story. This story is far from over. You could make the argument that we are at the most important part of the story because we now know that finding Nahida is of paramount importance for investigators. Not that it wasn't prior, but now that we know that something sinister happened to Zamil, you know that the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office are going to be working oh so diligently to find out where Nahida is and whether or not they can locate her as soon as possible. We appreciate everybody joining us here from the Stream Center on this particular story. We will have more live streams. And so on social media, follow YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. You can hit a button on a lot of these platforms to find out when we go live with updates so that it gets pushed to your phones. You can stay in the know. But we are going to be taking a break to assess all the information that we just learned and find out a little bit more about the history of the suspect in the case, Hisham Abu Garbe, 26 years old out of Hillsborough County. For Stream Center producer, Garrett Phillips, I'm JB Buno. Thank you so much for joining us on Hey JB here from the Stream Center. More live streams as developments occur in this story as the attention now turns to locating Nahida Bristi, 27 years old, out of Hillsborough County, Florida. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will be back.